there, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and welcome to our BizIQ live stream. But I got this nice little lovely timer here that's going to be counting down. Oh, give it a second. Okay, because I want you guys to have some time to join on in, get your little coffees. I got my tea because my throat is a little rough. Maybe grab some lunch. You're definitely going to want a notebook and a pen because Dan is going to be giving you some tips today. So we'll take some time. Dan and I are going to be here. You can look at our lovely faces, but we're going to be working in the background, probably sending funny memes to each other. Who knows? But we will be back in 4 minutes and 26 seconds with a whole bunch of good stuff for you guys. So we'll see you here soon, okay? All right, bye. Also, Dan, just a heads up, I'm going to mute you. All right, we got 1 minute left. 60 seconds. Are you getting nervous, Dan? I know this is your first live stream, so.
Maybe just a little.
A little nervous? It's fine. But apparently, it's good to feel nervous. That means you're gonna be, I don't know. There's somebody, if I can get my words out today, it'll be a good live stream, folks. But if I can't, I'm sorry. And at least you guys are here for the show. But somebody told me once that it's good when you're nervous because then you're ready and your adrenaline's pumping and your mind's thinking fast and all that great stuff.
That works for me. I accept that. That works.
Thank you. Thank you. It's real now. If it wasn't real before here or now, it did it. Wow. Whoa. It's
We're
going
off
to
to a
be
great
an
start. It's going to be
interesting
good.
live stream. Oh, man. I am so looking forward to this. I'm going to have so much fun. Or maybe just Dan will. All righty, folks. It is time. You have come to the live stream. My name is Kandice Taylor, and I am the Community Relations Coordinator here at BizIQ. But I hope that you already know that because you have been tuning in for a while. Today, we are talking about how you got found, you got the lead, but you did not close the sale. Last week, if you guys remember, I was talking to Colleen and we were talking all about how to attract those new customers. And today we're talking about how to convert them. So I have to say thank you and welcome to Dan Rice because he is our special guest today. He is the digital marketing sales manager. And Dan, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do here at BizIQ?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hello, everyone. I am Dan Rice. I am the digital marketing sales manager here. So I was a long time ago, ancient history now. I was with BizIQ way back in the early days, 8 to 10 years ago. And for the last 5 years or so, I have been actually running my own real estate business as well. I've been in sales for about 2 decades. In the last 5 years, I've sold probably about $20 to $30 million worth of real estate. And I am happy to be back here at BizIQ. And what we do in the digital marketing consultants department is we reach out to small business owners, small to medium-sized business owners that are looking to grow their online presence and get better rankings on Google. We talk to them about their current online marketing efforts and show them ways in which we can help them to improve so that we can become better partners for them.
Yes. Now, before we were getting on here, we are kind of talking about how you came back to BizIQ, and I just love what you had to say. So I want to share it with everybody here. But can you talk about your experience of what made you leave and what made you come back?
Oh, for sure. So, I mean, the reason I left was to start my own business, right? We work side by side with small business owners every day here. And honestly, it's inspiring, right? It causes everyone to think about like what's possible for us and what's in the future. And so as a salesperson, a real estate career seemed like a viable strategy for me. And it did work out really, really well. Now, of course, as everyone watching this already knows, some of the things that happen when you work by yourself is that you don't have the same support systems that you have working for a company, and you don't have the same boundaries. There's no business hours when you're working for yourself, not really. And so sometimes you're jumping out of bed at 11 o'clock at night to solve an urgent need. So as the real estate market got really, really crazy and inventory got lower and lower, I thought about where I wanted to go. And honestly, I'll tell you this. We didn't mention this the first time, Kandice. I'm going to tell you this right now. I submitted one resume.
That was it. You're like, I got to come back. I love that.
If I'm going to work for someone else, there's no one else I want to work for. So I submitted one resume. I called Ryan, our owner, and asked if there were openings and if there was a possibility for me to come back, and it all happened pretty quickly. So it's very excited to be back in a position to help small business owners and work with some boundaries and some structure to get people more success and more customers.
Yes, and we are glad to have you. Now, we are going to talk about what we're going to cover today because there are things that I want you guys to know that you will take home today. You're going to take home some new strategies. You're going to take home, I hope, some confidence with your next call that comes through. And I hope that you can take away some organizational strategies so that you can be the best entrepreneur that you can be. Today, we're going to be talking about speed to the lead and how that affects your conversion rate. We're also going to be talking about how to build rapport and all of the good stuff that comes to that. And then my favorite portion of today, well, second favorite portion of today, we're going to talk about organizing your information. Now, if you're tuning in, if you have heard of this sales tactic, I need you to raise your hand in the comment section, okay? Because Dan has brought this to my attention. And at first I was like, that's not real. That's not a real thing. But, you know, here we are. So if you know what a tickler file is, drop a little hand raise down there in the comments. to prove me wrong. Just prove me wrong. That's all I'm looking for. One person. But Dan, what do you got to say about our topic today and everything we're going to discuss?
Yeah. So, I mean, the general topic is around converting the leads that you work so hard for into actual paying customers. And I think it's a really important topic. It's something that we need to address, right? Because when we're talking about working with small to medium-sized business owners, most of our business owners are experts in their fields, right? If you run a plumbing company, you're an expert plumber. If you work in an air conditioning company, you're an expert air conditioning technician. But sometimes when we go into small business in those areas, some of our other knowledge, we have some knowledge gaps around sales specifically. We very rarely get sat down and taught what are the strategies, what are the techniques we can use to convert leads into customers. And those things are really important, because if you don't know how to go about converting leads into customers, you're going to spend a lot more time and a lot more effort and a lot more money than you have to feed yourself and your business and your family. So these are fundamental techniques, things that everybody needs to know.
Yes, and I think it's super important specifically for our clientele and the people that we market ourselves to, because sometimes when entrepreneurs first start out, we're often their first website. And so they come into this with stars in their eyes and they think, everybody's just going to gravitate towards my product and I'm going to do so well. But then they get that first call and they don't know how to walk the client through to make sure that they are successful and that they do close the deal. So I'm really excited to be able to talk with you guys about it, because I think it's something a lot of our clients need to know, and I'm happy to be able to teach it. Well, be the +1 to your teaching.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah. And I think you make a good point, right? We've all been there. We start a business, we print the business card, stick a sign in the front yard and think it's going to grow itself. Right. Like, so happy to be of service here. So,
yeah. Speed to the lead. What you got for me?
So I want to paint a picture here, because I think that it is helpful to sort of understand how this all works. So you are out in the field, right? Whatever it is you do, let's say you're an air conditioning company, right? So your day is mostly, you have a route and a schedule that's worked out where you're going to have appointments for the day. And so you're in the truck, or you're in a customer's house, or you're working on an air conditioner on a hot roof, right? Whatever the job is, and your phone rings. Now, we know that we've spent some money on marketing, however it is we're doing that, right? We're doing digital marketing, or we've sent out mailers, and we've made a bunch of phone calls. We just went around knocking on doors in our neighborhood. At that point, that phone is ringing and you've got to make a decision. Should you answer that phone or let it go to voicemail?
I am biased, but let's just say for funsies, you let it go to voicemail.
So Kandice, the right answer is you should answer that phone. But, sometimes you're going to be in a situation where you have to let it go to voicemail, and we'll talk about that too. But from the customer's perspective, right? If we step out of your shoes and into the shoes of the person calling you, let's think about the journey that they went on. They got on the internet, and in 90% of cases, they pulled out their cell phone to do this. They pulled out their phone and they searched for an air conditioning contractor or an air conditioning company. They got a list of results and they made a phone call. Now, these people are probably on their lunch break because they are most likely working if they own an air conditioner. So they have time set aside to get this done. They've picked up the phone and they've called. If you don't answer that phone, there are 10 to 20 other air conditioning companies that are on that list. And if they go to voicemail for you, there's a 50-50 shot as to whether they're going to leave a voicemail. And there's a 100% chance they're going to call the next phone number on that list.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what the statistics tell us. A live answer is best. But if you can respond to an inbound lead inquiry, whether that's a phone call or an online form fill, if you can respond to that inquiry within 2 minutes, your chances of closing that lead increase by 400%.
Oh my God, 400? Like not just a normal 100, like 400?
Like 400% more likely to close the lead. And I'm going to put that to you a different way just to drive this point home. If you wait 3 minutes to call that lead back, your chances of closing the lead decrease by 400%.
Oh my gosh. We are truly like an ADHD culture. Like we need our fix and we need it fast.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of reasons behind it. If you want to take a look at the psychology of it, just think about the people who are calling you, right? Normal people Normal people have some level of call anxiety. So psyching themselves up to make that call to you was difficult in the first place. They're on a time crunch. They're on their lunch break. They are punching through this list of people to try to solve whatever problem is hurting them bad enough that they were able to overcome their anxiety about calling a stranger and talking to them on the phone. So they're going to power through that list and try to talk to somebody who makes them feel good about it, and that they can book an appointment and just be done with this painful task that they're working through. So for sure, you need to answer that phone, or you need to get back to them very quickly. Now, you might not always have time to have a full conversation with them, right?
Right.
Maybe you're talking to a customer, or you're in the middle of a job, or you're closing someone at an appointment and the phone call comes in. That's okay. Get back to them within 2 minutes. And even if that return call is just, hey, this is Dan with ABC Air Conditioning. I got your call. I want you to know it's really important to me. I understand what you're going through is something difficult. I am with a customer right now, but I wanted to let you know that I'm going to call you back in 15 minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah.
That
And oftentimes, like if you do get a call and like you are in front of a client, you can just excuse yourself really quickly. Say, hey, I got to take this call. And many people understand that. Or maybe, they needed to check their phone for a second, or they got a message as well. People are flexible. So
yeah.
always just extend that grace and ask for it, because you never know what's going to be on the other side of that phone. I love it.
Perfect. So that level of responsiveness is really going to elevate your conversion rates. And if you just did that and nothing else, chances are you'd start seeing a lot more business coming in on the books. So speed to lead is the most fundamental and the highest priority sales tip I can give you today. But we have others too.
Yes. Let's talk about some rapport building.
Excellent. So you answer the phone. The phone call comes in, and you're in a position where you can take the call and go into a conversation with this lead that has a problem. So Kandice, I'll ask you. You own ABC Air Conditioning. You've just answered a lead call. What's the first thing you think you should ask that person on the other end of the phone?
Well, first thing is you should say hi, your name, and the business that you're calling. Because I can't even tell you how many times I've called a business and then they pick up and it's just hello. And then I say hello, and I have phone anxiety. So then it's just both of us kind of sitting there for 20 seconds. And then I'm like, well, I guess I'll drive. I'm calling you today. And it's weird. It's weird,
Yeah.
But
Now,
what is your suggestions?
I think that's an excellent point, and I think it's worth pointing out that what you're drawing attention to, Kandice, is the fact that when someone calls you for help as a business owner, they're expecting you to be in charge. They're expecting you to be the expert and lead them towards the solution. So yes, identify yourself professionally. Say your company name. Say who they're calling with. Right? Give them a sense that you're a professional when you answer the phone. And then the next question you're going to ask is going to vary based on your industry, but it should be some version of, why did you call and how can I help you?
Yes, I love it. Just give them the opportunity to tell you why they're calling, because you really want to understand their pain points, and so that you can position yourself as the solution. Am I right? Am I on this
Absolutely.
something?
You're on it. So the what we call these in sales, the sales language for it is we call these discovery questions, right? What kinds of problems are you experiencing? Right? What can I help you with? What's the purpose for the call today? Like how can I help you? And they'll let you know what's going on, right? That part they've sort of got down, right? So if you're an air conditioning company, they're going to tell you that, well, I got home from work today. It's 6 p.m. and my air conditioner is set for 80, and right now it is 60 degrees in my house, and the blower is still on. And it hasn't stopped, and it's going to blow all night. So my options are to turn it off, or I don't know what's going on, and I'm afraid that my air conditioner is broken, and it's 130 degrees outside, right? Like you're going to get that level. You'll get some of that information, or you might get less than that, right? The customer might just say, I think my air conditioner is broken.
Something's wrong.
Something's wrong with my air.
Yeah.
So this is where discovery questions really kick in, right? So there's two levels to this. The first level is asking questions about, well, what kinds of problems are you having? And if they give you a more thorough description, we can reach out to them.
Are you getting? I was like, is that me getting a call, or are you getting a call?
That was one of our DMCs reaching out for help, but I'm redirecting him. You might get some more information. So the next level of discovery questions is about finding out more information and demonstrating that you care about their problem and that you're seeking to understand it. So those might be questions like, How long has this been going on? Have you ever had a problem like this before? Are you seeing any other signs of things that are going on with the air conditioner that might be problems for you? When's the last time you had the air conditioner serviced?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then that's specific to one industry that we can translate that to pretty much anything, but we're digging deeper and demonstrating that we care and that we're gathering information. The second part to that is that because you're an expert, as your potential client starts to answer your questions, you're probably going to get some sort of insight into what might be going on. You deal with the same problems every day, right? Like there's a limited number of problems that you can experience with an air conditioner or plumbing system. Now the list might be long, but it is still limited, and chances are you have some common issues. What you want to do once you start to get some insight into what might be happening is you want to take that opportunity on that first call to start educating your customer.
I love that.
It's a really important step because essentially what you're doing is you're demonstrating expertise and you're offering some solutions. So you're going to give some insight into what might be causing the problem, and you're going to provide them with some of the options that might be viable solutions for them. Now you can offer the disclaimer there that you're probably going to need to come and like assess the issue in person so that you can know for sure. But the goal here is demonstrate expertise, build some rapport, and help the customer feel comfortable working with you. So I'll put it again. Kandice, you've been on the customer side of this. So let me ask you this. When you're calling a business and you are investigating your options to solve a real problem in your life, what are the questions in your mind that you're looking to get answered?
So I'm a little bit of a penny pusher or penny pincher. There we go. And so I'm always going to ask about price.
Okay, that's fair.
Yes.
100% we're wondering about price. Was it fair to say that we're also wondering, like, can I trust you?
Yes. Like if you don't have like a good, like a vibe, I don't know. I'm all about the vibes. I know it's probably a very millennial Gen Z thing of me, but if we can't have like a good cadence on the phone, I'm probably just going to call the next guy.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I don't think that's a millennial thing. I think that older generations just have a different way of saying that. What they used to say is, "I just had a good feeling about him."
Yeah, the vibes, the feelings, they're the same thing. Yeah,
it's 100% the same thing. So your customer, when they're talking to you, they're trying to figure out a couple of things. One, is it a fair price? Because I'll tell you, they're not looking for the cheapest price. That's almost universally true. At least with service contractors, they're looking for somebody who knows what they're doing, someone they can trust, and someone they believe can help them. Right? So how can we communicate that information? We can educate our potential customers about the problem that they're experiencing. We can show them that we care, and we can show them what some of the possible solutions might be, and then set up an appointment to come and assess in person.
Yes, actually, you're like kind of bringing back some memories. So I have a dog that she's a little aggressive. And so we had to send her to aggressive doggy training camp. But I paid an extra $500 on top of some of my other quotes because the guy that I talked to, we talked for like probably 32 minutes just about my dog and her likes and her dislikes and the things that we've tried and some of the things that he would recommend that we try now, even before us signing up with him. And at the end of the conversation, I just felt like, wow, he cares about dogs. He's going to care about my dog. And I don't want anybody else to handle her, especially somebody that doesn't care or might be mean to her. I never got any of those feelings from him. So I think it's right when you do educate with somebody and like appeal to their pain points and kind of have a soft spot for all of the frustrations that they're going to and that you're going to fix it. It just takes loads off of their shoulders and weights and all of that great stuff.
Yeah, no, you make an excellent point. What we're talking about is demonstrating empathy and compassion on a sales call. It's critical. The people that you're working with, your customers want to know that you're a human being. And they want to know that you care about them, at least on some level. So as a bonus tip on asking questions, I will say that the last question you should be asking on that call is some version of, I have an opening tomorrow and Saturday. Which of those days works better for me to come over? Right? We should be asking for the sale or asking for the appointment. And what's great is if we can tie that closing statement to their pain or to their needs, we're going to get a much better reaction and a much higher conversion rate. So that might sound something like this. listen, I'm really sorry you're having to deal with this. I know that it's really stressful when your air conditioner stops working in the middle of the summer and you're worried about like your kids waking up and when it hits 130 degrees tomorrow. I want to take care of this as quickly and as painlessly as possible for you. And I actually have an opening later today. Is that going to work for you?
Yeah, it would. I'm already sold. I know this was just like a make-believe thing, but I just get emotionally invested in everything. So yeah, come fix my AC, Dan, please.
And as a pro tip, it works even better if you actually do care. If you're coming from a place of sincere compassion, that's the best thing in the world. That works even better.
Now, we are going over a little bit on time here, so let's get into our last tip. We're going to be talking about organizing your info.
Absolutely.
Now, nobody took my bait for my tickler question, so lead us away.
All right, so we've been teasing a tickler file here. So I'll talk a little bit about what that is. But the scenario we're talking about here is we're going to deal in reality. You're going to get lead calls and you are not going to close all of them on the first call, right? So what do we do from there to increase your conversion rates and turn more of those leads into customers? We need to have an organizational system for the leads that come in, and we need to have a strategy for following up with them. So step one, when you get an inbound lead call, what you need to do is the first thing you're going to need to do on that call is collect a full set of information. A full set of information is the customer name, a phone number, an email address, and a physical address. Then you're going to need a place to put that information. So there's a bunch of ways you can do it. Maybe you have a CRM. Maybe you have a mobile application on your phone where you can put customers in. If you do, that's great. That's something that I used. Maybe you just use the Notes app on your iPhone where you open up a note and just type in that information and just have one note per customer. But there is a strategy, a very simple, very old school strategy that's been around for a very long time. If you know who Zig Ziglar is, maybe you know what I'm about to say. But a tickler file is a really simple organizational system. Here's how it works. It is an accordion file. It's one of those ones that opens up and has different file pockets inside of it. On each of those little file pockets, you label it with a day of the week. So you can do a 7-folder accordion file. If you have a longer sales cycle, maybe you get like a 30 folder, but you label it with days of the week or dates of the month, and you keep inside of it a stack of index cards. So when a lead calls in and you get that full set of information, you're going to grab one of those index cards and you're going to grab a pen and you're going to write the name, the email address, the phone number, the physical address, and the reason why they called, as well as today's date, the date of the initial inquiry on that index card. So maybe you don't close that deal, but your follow-up strategy is that you're going to follow up with them the next day. Well, if today is Thursday, that means you drop that index card into the Friday folder. Mm-hmm. And then on Friday, what you're going to do at a preset time in your day, you're going to open up your tickler file, pull the index cards out of the Friday pocket, and call them all. Yes. And then as you call through them, if your follow-up strategy is that you're going to call them again in 2 days, well, if it's Friday, that means that you're going to call them on Sunday or Monday, depending on your business hours. So you'll take all the calls that you complete, all the index cards from those leads, and drop them into the Monday folder in your accordion file. It's simple.
Right. And I like it that way because I'm old school. I'm a millennial Gen Zer. I'm on that like nice little cuff there, but I like pen and paper. I like to write my notes hand style. And so I think there's a lot of other people out there who might feel the same way. And there's something about just like mechanically doing things, that just makes you feel good and you feel good after you've done it. I don't know. Do you have more insight, Dan?
Yeah. Well, there's psychology behind that too, right? Like if you handwrite information, it increases your memory recall. So you're more likely to remember the conversation you had with them and that they called in the first place. The other thing that it's going to do for you is just, there's a sense of satisfaction from having like a mechanical movement associated with a task. So just the act of moving that index card to the next file, it's going to feel a whole lot different than just like clicking a check mark on a checklist on your computer or something. You don't have to do it that way. There are much more elegant solutions that are available with tons of bells and whistles on them. But I mean, if I can provide you with a $5 solution to a $10,000 problem, I'm going to do that. And the other thing I'll point out is that this is something I've said before. The best CRM is the one you're going to use.
Mm-hmm.
So if whatever system you're using is complex or overwhelming, and as a result you don't use it, then it's worthless. You need something that's going to keep you organized and remind you to call. And the tickler file is an old classic for a reason.
Yes, I love it. Now, we've been talking for a lot, so we're not going to get to my best favorite part of the day where we put you in the hot. I know, but we're at 30 minutes. All right. But thank you guys for tuning in. If you did tune in, I want you to drop a little emoji of what you thought about today. And please reach out if you have any other questions, comments, or concerns, because we would love to help you with all of those. Alrighty, guys. Well, I will see you next week when we talk about how to deliver your products and services so that you hit it out of the park every time. All right. Bye, guys.